You're live.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Blades and Blasters and our presentation, our one and only Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition game. This is our 4th episode of this, so thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for videos almost every day. So without further ado, I'm going to give a brief recap of the campaign so far, kind of in character, and then we will kick it off. A wizened scribe hunched over a piece of parchment in a poorly lit room, shadows deep around his spindly shape as he writes. And so our tale of myth and tragedy continues in fits and sputters, told only in fragments, separated by islands of time. But this is fitting. No tale is wholly accurate or reflects the reality that birthed it. If you recall, the continent of Arcanus split broadly into north and south by a great range of mountains. And if you also recall Julius Tarreton, Prince of Fristenfeld, and Tarreton Giant's Blood, Lord of Buzzard's Roost, and Foliana Greti, a wayward noble from the elvish realm of Southlandia, and not least, Tarkul Tarlson, a hard man of Group Galandon, who very much seeks to do great things. You may recall furthermore the political landscape. Jairus Tarrisk, Lord of Fristenfell, and his rival in the Vestburg, Count Lupus von Severus. Von Severus has been besieged by the Grand Legions of the Conventus, and it seems the time is ripe for Fristenfell to seize power. But is there more than meets the eye? Upon this treacherous scene stumbled Foliana, Tarkul, and Dr. Taleb Underhill. They now bide their time, deciding if the company of Julius, Tarbin, and their knights will pay off in riches or death. Seeking an ancient power beneath a cathedral outside Pinebreak Peak, the unlikely fellowship has found themselves amidst a supernatural struggle between an ancient demon, Zorûl the Vanquished, and Elfgar the Old, alleged founder of Pinebreak Peak, but who, as it turns out, is much more complicated. They have delved deeply and spoke with the dead. They have sweat and bled, and now the time has come at last to enter the lair of Zorûl himself. But alas, the very shadows of the place seem to have come alive, attacking them and seizing upon a most valiant knight. All right, let me bring it down to the bottom here. Everybody centered?
Yes.
All right.
I see it.
Very well. All right, so as you can recall, you entered this final cavern, and as you stalked forward, it seemed almost as if the shadows surrounding you had come to life. They swirled around the feet of Sir Carl, and then suddenly Sir Carl found himself gripped, as with hands of ice about his throat, tearing at his flesh. And even Julius and Tarbin and Tarkul and Foliana, as you look at Sir Carl, you can almost see that his frame seems to wither within his armor as he starts to become frail and weak. And Sir Carl calls out, "Help! Help me! I'm so weak." All right, so roll initiative. There should be a macro leftmost, and I've already rolled for the NPCs. Cool. Ooh, and the shadows get to go first, and this is something I don't know about. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they're going to seize upon Sir Carl, both of them. And as you look onward with Horrell, they just swirl about him, kind of rending at his armor. And Sir Carl kind of yells, "Help me! Help me!" Great. Attack 12 versus 18. That misses. The next one. Ooh,
that one's gonna hit.
That one hits. The target strength score is reduced by 1d4. So he's going to go down another 2. And I believe it causes a damage as well. Let me check out their character sheet. Yeah. Also causes 2d6 plus 2. So 9 necrotic damage. So he starts to look weak in more ways than one Sir Carl does. And Tarkle, you're going to be up next.
I don't know if they're hit by battle axes. Let's find out.
Let's see. All right, you're going at this top one, so tell me what this looks like. So you do hit them, but they have resistance to it, so it's going to be half rounded up. So I'm going to give 5 damage to that, right? So tell me what that looks like.
You don't really see the axe and what happens. You just see this dumbfounded expression on Torkel's face, like, what was that? Huh? As the axe passes through the shadowy thing.
Yeah, like the shadows kind of dissipate and you hear hiss, and then the shadows kind of reform, and it seems to face you and rises up before you, Tarkle, as if you can almost see 2 pits of blackness within the gloom that burn with a deep hate that stares into your soul. Sir Carl turns around, raises his weapon, although he feels like he can barely raise it at all, and he swings in the direction of the shadow as well.
Ooh.
Nice.
And he hits. That's going to be cause of 4 damage. Again, it kind of cleaves through the shadow, and the shadow kind of reforms around. You all hear the hissing. Taleb is going to cower along and skirt along the wall.
Is that a cower +2?
Lord Giant's Blood.
He will stomp up here by Carl and Torkel and smash at the beastie with his maul.
Ooh, well struck.
Well struck. But yet the shadow remains. It starts to twist and turn around your feet, Tarban. You feel a coldness start to kind of spread up your legs and at the base of your spine. Sir Tiffin stands by Julia's side and kind of draws his sword and says, "Stay back, my lord. I shall fall before you." Julius.
Yeah, Julius looks to Sir Tiffin and nods, but he is at no position where he's going to stand back and just do nothing. He's interested in seeing how these creatures react to his magics. They seem very resistant to the swinging of steel. So he will look to one of the, from his perspective, which one's one of the easier ones to hit. Because not that he cares so much about Sir Carl, but he doesn't want to waste his energy on hitting him. So does this look like the easier one to hit, Bo?
Yeah.
From my perspective?
So
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, so Julius would look at one of the ones that is well and clear, so he does not scorch anyone else, and will launch an eldritch blast at it.
What type
Pretty
of
good
damage
too.
is that?
What kind of damage is it? Force.
Force damage. Let's see here. Yep, nothing on that one.
No damage at all?
No, oh no, it takes full damage.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, the
Ooh.
shadow kind of is knocked back slightly.
You have strengthened it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
knocks back slightly, but it seems somewhat faded. But now those two dark, burning tips of blackness kind of stare in your direction, Julius, and you seem to have had this thing's attention.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, she was looking that direction, but she's just kind of dumbfounded for a moment, watching these things swirl around. She's almost mesmerized by them, and then finally she kind of snaps out of it and takes a quick shot around the corner here at the one that's close. That should be a sneak attack with
Oh, wow, you guys are rolling well.
oh, I forgot to turn on my sneak attack. Hold on. And I do 2 dice 6. I'll just roll the 2 dice 6. Oh, it should have actually been enabled. Huh. Or maybe, oh, did it? Is the
Hey,
5?
you're probably using my macro. You guys don't have to use mine if you don't want. You can use the sheets.
Okay.
When I created the game, I didn't even know that the tabletop enhancement even existed. So
Okay, that's
Yeah.
so that's 15.
15 is pretty good.
And she is going to use her bonus action with a move to hide here. Again, she's pulling back. She does not like the look of these things. And I'll try to hide again. Let's see. That would be stealth. 17. That's better than their passive, which it probably should be.
Yeah, their passive is
It's usually like 10 to 15 if they're really awesome. 15. And that's it.
all right. Yeah, it's 10. So, all right. So this gentleman here, close to Torkel or Tarleton, that's the one that's kind of the shadow is kind of wrapping up Tarvin Giant's Blood's legs, and you. Oh! What does it look like as you kind of shake off this shadow as it starts to kind of crawl up your spine?
It starts wrapping itself around Tarvin. He scowls at it, steps back away from it quickly, sort of wisps of shadow break away.
This other one kind of backs off a little bit. You see it kind of swirl into the air. And kind of backs into the shadows, and he's going to make a stealth check. And that's going to be with a +6 instead of a +4.
Yes.
So that would be 18. Julius and Fuliana, give me a perception.
Technically, we have to actively search if it's over our passive. But
Yeah.
you do it however you want. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I just want to see if you guys,
18.
just for RP purposes, yeah.
Yeah. 18 is a match.
So fully on
Where
it,
did he go?
yeah, you see something kind of rise up out of the ground behind
shit.
Julius, and
Okay.
Julius kind of like you're looking over Sir Tiffin's shoulder, and Sir Tiffin's kind of looking this direction over here, and that will be his turn. Tarkle.
Ugh. I'm tired.
Yes. Apparently.
So 16, damage 3. I'll give you 2.
What's
Oracle
the,
will look around and pretend he didn't swing. He's too embarrassed to claim that.
It's just so, it's so darty and incorporeal. I'm sure that's what Torkel will say too.
Yeah, Sir Carl continues to try to swing at the thing.
Nice.
Hits it, but he only does 3. And it still survives, swirling about Tarbin's legs. Taylor doesn't do much. He kind of stays cowered in the corner, skirting along the wall. Tarbin.
Liliana shoots him.
What manner of beast is this?
Oh,
Ooh. I guess it threw you off. As you threw him off.
Sir Tiffin kind of spins around. Happens to see the shadow behind Julius and says, "My lord, behind you!" But he's kind of taken aback, draws his weapon, and kind of stands to your side. And he has a shield out and stuff too, so he's going to try to protect you if you get attacked. Your turn.
Oh, well, let's see. That's definitely an engagement range, so I'd have to spend a full action to disengage, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Julius is none too keen to be that close. He is more than happy to let Sir Tiffin stay between him and the shadow. So he definitely takes a back step behind Sir Tiffin and allows him to fight the creature, and that would be my turn.
Liliana.
Ooh. Is Tiffin engaged with the shadow at this point?
I don't think he's engaged. They're close to each other though. You should be able to hit him. You're close enough.
Yeah, it's I don't get my sneak
I would.
attack if he's not. So all right. That's fine.
If you're attacking from stealth, you don't get it.
Yeah, aren't you hiding?
Oh, if I'm attacking from stealth, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I will take a point blank shot at him then. Oh, hopefully my sneak damage will be better. 13.
7. The arrow shoots through him, and it kind of turns to you and starts to head in your direction. But this flame here is almost too bright that it dissipates the shadow. You can tell this shadow, its presence is waning, and you can sense that it's kind of getting very desperate at this point.
Okay. Then I'm still going to move there, back, and try to hide again. I don't like these things. Yeah, probably not as good.
Well, it still passes.
Still? Okay, good.
It means that it's going to turn on Julius and not you.
Excellent. I mean, oh, shoot.
So it does turn on Julius, and Julius, tell me what it looks like as this thing kind of rushes at you and takes a swipe. Disadvantage, though. So tell me what it looks like as your knight protects you and does his job.
Yeah, so Julius backsteps and assumes he's going to maybe go for Sir Tiffany, tries to position himself, but he sees it go directly towards him, and there is a tinge of fear. He hasn't ever encountered anything like this before, so his eyes go wide. He raises his hands in defense as it's starting to go to glow with blue flame, but a shield comes in, and for whatever reason, this holds up against this incorporeal form. As Sir Tiffin takes the blow and pushes it away.
Very good. And the other one, it's probably a miss on Tarvin, isn't it? Yep. Torkel, you're back up.
Ugh.
12. That does. What's it look like as you vanquish this foe?
Nice.
You can't believe it hits Torkel. Oh, what is this? Whoosh. And as it dissipates, he has this really stupid look on his
Tarvin immediately feels the chill spreading up his low back and neck go away.
It's gone. He looks around for it.
We're just too tall for it to climb that high.
I'm going to move ahead onto you, Tarvin.
Well, since the one they were facing is gone, he will rush over here to assist Julius. Try and smash this one. Oh, that might be a hit.
Yep, it's a hit. And
Ooh.
vanquisher of foes, what's it look like?
Tarvin runs up, swings the maul through it. It looks like it's just going to pass right through, but suddenly there's a bit of resistance, and the creature swirls away.
Clear combat from then, and then we'll pick it back up. So as you vanquish the last of these shadows, the two knights are obviously breathing heavy. Sir Carl is leaning upon his sword, and you can hear his breath coming in gasps, but from beneath his armor, Lord Tarvin, Lord Julius, are you wounded, or is it just me that feels faint of head? For my arms and legs feel like I have run a dozen leagues. He kind of sits down on a boulder.
Julius looks about. I believe it was just you who was injured. How do you feel?
Oh, nay, I've been much more than injured. I can barely lift my sword or this shield. He kind of takes his helmet off, and you can see that his face is gaunt and his hair is just wiry thin and his eyes are bloodshot. It's as if he hasn't eaten in like a month.
Tarvin looks at Talib. You, healer, see to this man.
Underhill kind of slinks out of the shadows at this point. Oh, my lord, yes, of course. If I could be of any service at all, I would love to be of service to this valiant knight. Each of you fought valiantly there. I had your backs. And kind of looks over Sir Tiffin. Ah, what afflicts this man? I am sorry, Lord Giant's Blood. It is beyond my powers to heal. Only rest is what he needs. But I fear we do not have time for that. We must press onwards.
And Julius will look to Caleb, look to Mr. Carl, and then you may rest here. Sir Tiffin, you will tend to your fellow knight while we push on ahead.
My lord, I must protest. It is my charge to protect thee, and my charge I intend to fulfill.
I will have Lord Giant's blood with me. There is no finer protector in all this land. It'll be fine. Have no worry.
Looks to Giant's blood and nods reluctantly. I would be quite amiss to say that Lord Giant's blood is not capable. Indeed, he's one of the most capable here, wielding that maul with an expertise I have rarely seen. Each of you, in fact, deserves commendation. I did not know such fighting men and women can be found, apart from the ranks of the knighthood.
Tarreton just looks to Carl. Try not to be eaten.
Aye, aye, my lord.
A fitting end to a fine speech.
Both of the knights kind of sit down on the boulder and take off their helmets, and they still have their swords at the ready, but their shields they lay at their sides. Well, well, Caleb says, I suppose onwards and upwards, or in this case, perhaps downwards.
Of course. Julius looks to Tarreton. By all means, Lord Giant's blood, lead the way.
Did we want to see where they came from? Did they not emerge from up there? She points up this way. Does that look climbable? I now have a...
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it would be a climb. It's that is like a cliff of some sort. So I'd probably say 10 meters or so.
Mm-hmm. Looks like I could attempt it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see no harm in it.
I wouldn't even make you roll for that.
All right.
Okay.
You see no harm for yourself, I'm sure. She all right, then she cautiously makes her way up and peeks over. Does she see anything of note before just blundering in?
As you have a dark side, right? So
I do.
You don't see anything. It's an empty chasm. As you take a few steps, your steps just echo in the chamber. You can hear far below you, maybe from this way, what sound like bubbling pools of what you think might be something very hot, but
Does
nothing up here.
Feel hotter here?
No, it doesn't feel necessarily hotter up there. You're probably getting a little further away from where the heat source is. I wonder if I could give your token in particular a little more sight.
I'm sure you could.
Let's do that. Emits light.
Oh, that's quite a bit more.
Yeah, they can't see it though, so just you.
Yes. All right. She'll make her way gradually over this way. So she sees nothing on the floor.
No.
She'll
And
kinda-
unlike the chamber above you, there's no,
did you? Is it checked that other players can see? Because Ghost is saying he can see what I see.
Yeah, I actually am able to click and select everyone's tokens.
No, don't.
I don't know why. No, I'm not going to, but I'm just letting you know if you need to adjust it.
That's fine. Don't worry about it now.
Oh yeah, I can select other people too. All right, she'll go
Actually, yes.
this. She'll go this way a little bit. Not even gonna say anything about where she's going. She just kind of heads in cautiously.
Yep, the rest of you kind of see Filiana disappear into the gloom and hear her footsteps kind of recede away. Filiana, you're seeing what here. It's basically a stark cavern. Yeah, there's not a lot of that refuse from earlier. There's no bones or carcasses about.
Okay.
There's no smell that's awful. Instead, it's just like a dank smell of sulfur and brimstone.
Okay. And she'll poke her head around here and say, "Boo."
And Sir Carl is like resting. He had almost fallen asleep, and just his armor rattles as he wakes up. "Oh, Lady Gretty!"
It is a short circuit over this way, she says. Nothing much to be seen up there. No point in climbing.
So, the creatures came from
It is
the
an
very shadows themselves.
It is an empty chamber up there of some sorts. There are stairs. She'll go back and examine these stairs. Do they look natural or carved?
They look carved, but very, very old. Lots of not even erosion from footsteps, but just old age, decay.
Mm-hmm. She points and says, "I see two ways forward. This way leads upwards. This way is a smaller passage."
And the heat and the sulfurous fumes seem to be kind of buffeting up from this direction.
Oh,
I
this-
assume that those are stairs up, or is it
Down.
down? Okay, it looks up. All right, so she says now there's stairs down that way. She says, "I may poke this way before we head down the stairs."
Julius. No, Hudson. We will wait for your return.
She looks here. What does she see there?
This direction is just a chasm that kind of trails off into the gloom.
Hmm. All right, she'll go this way. Ooh. Ooh, what is that she sees? She will quietly make her way back and says, "In this direction there is a chamber. It appears there is a sacrificial altar of sorts and some molten pit of sorts. I did not stay to look long."
No. Shall we go in force then? And Julius begins to head in that direction.
Liliana will sort of lead them along then. Don't get too far ahead, Doctor.
You don't have to worry about me. Like I said, I have your backs.
Mm-hmm. She is going to go in stealth here. Now, if you want me to roll.
Sure. Very good. So as you creep in to this chamber, you do see that there is a low pool of molten lava. The surface of it kind of crackles with a dark crust as it kind of bubbles to the surface, cools, and then is churned up again. Much as you can see here, there are kind of two altars, one to the left and one to the right, both of which seems to have some sort of bleached bones on them. Probably not bloody, really, just much older than probably is the picture here. The bones, as you approach them, the steps are just covered with an inch of dust almost.
Oof. Foliana is curious, of course. She will cautiously make her way towards the altar and kind of give it a look around. Is there inscriptions on it? Anything of note? Any traps that she can see?
There are some old inscriptions near the bottom of the altar, kind of carved into the steps. As you kind of climb up them, the dust kind of swirls around your feet and you can see them.
Can she make out the writing or recognize it?
Give me an what is it, Arcanum, I think, or something like that.
Arcanum?
For magical stuff, yeah.
Yep.
You notice that it is certainly maybe roots in Elvish, but certainly a dialect in a script you have never seen before. The doctor is kind of behind you again with his kind of apothecary's bag and kind of looks up to you and says, "Oh, what have you found here? Another find? Another relic, I see."
She points and says, unless these bones are relics of saints of some sort, she says the only thing of true interest I see are these symbols. I don't quite recognize them, but they look very old.
And he produces a charcoal and paper and takes a rubbing of the inscription.
Foliana will glance in with the bones just to see if there's anything that catches her eye.
Actually, right in front of the bones there is, kind of as you look into it, kind of at the lip of the bowl, there is what looks to be a silver dagger that kind of gleams at the edges with a pale light.
Does it have any inscriptions? She'll cautiously look at it. Does it have a sinister look to it, or?
No, it doesn't. It has a faintly elvish look about it as well. And it's the same script as is carven upon the steps.
She'll reach out and touch it with her finger.
And
Almost wincing.
You don't notice anything untoward. In fact, Foliana, as you touch the blade, that glowing light seems to contrast with the gloom of the surrounding place and kind of spreads up your hand, and your hand is drawn to touch the blade and may feel that it's sturdy and feels like it belongs with you.
She'll kind of take a look around. Everyone else seems to be busy, even Caleb taking his little his rubbings, so she'll just kind of,
he's like,
her little klepto starts coming out, and she takes the dagger and just kind of shoves tucks it in her belt and hides it under her cloak.
And it disappears under there, and as it disappears under your cloak, it becomes close to your body. The light kind of fades away so that it is quite concealed. Tarkle, Julius, Tarvin, what are you up to?
Tarbin is looking around a little, but mostly his attention is on keeping Julius from being attacked by anything.
Julius.
Julius is investigating this altar here, looking it over, looking for script or just trying to better understand what something like this is doing down here.
Yeah, in the same vein
Like an Arcana.
Yeah, Foliana. You do see that script at the bottom of the altar. You can roll your...
It's not anything that I recognize. You said Arcana?
Yeah, you can roll that. Oh, no, just shy. Similar to her, you recognize it with Elvish roots, but the script and characters are formed in a way you just certainly can't place. And before you there on the altar, Julius, you see, again, flamingly glowing with a white light around the edges. On this altar, a long sword that's set right before the bones. And the long sword seems to be untouched by the long years that no doubt lay upon this place.
Julius will look it over and take the blade without hesitation. Look it up and down, see how it's weighted.
Similar to Foliana, just shing, kind of rings as you lift it up. And as you lift it up, Tarbin and Torkel, who are closer to you, Julius, you see that the shadow is almost driven away by this thing as he kind of lifts it up. It's almost as if the oppressive heat that surrounds you is driven aback by the steel of the sword.
And he will look it over and nod approvingly, put it in his sword belt.
A most unusual blade, my lord.
It is fitting for this most unusual place, Lord Giant's Blood.
You found something of interest.
The sword shines. It was brighter in the room when I pulled it from this altar.
I wonder how it got here. Who would leave so fine a blade here?
Likely whoever this poor fellow was, and he will gesture with the tip of the blade to the bones that are in the circle on the altar.
Well, I don't expect he'll be needing it anymore then.
No.
Although there are two altars and there were two shadows, perhaps we already met its previous owner.
That would be quite interesting magic to cause such a revival. Well, I know not how to decipher these scripts. I assume that it is the same on the other side.
It is
No.
unusual, old, vaguely related to Elven, probably. Who knows? A corruption of Elvish.
Well, there's nothing more value to be gained from here without the knowledge to understand the scripts. I suppose we should continue onward.
Are there any loose rocks around?
Yeah,
My
there
feet-
are.
Foliana just kind of casually kicks a couple stones into the lava, or whatever that is.
Those kind of disappear beneath the magma with a spout of flame.
She likes that, kicks a couple more, watches those get consumed, and then Kind of smirks a little and walks away.
I think it's wrong. I would not like to be left in a place like this. These bones should be burned. He takes the bones and tosses them in the lava. What I do for you, I do for your fellow.
Foliana just kind of leans back against the stone and watches with some mild amusement.
Someday perhaps I will do the same for you, Foliana.
Preferably after I'm dead.
Well, if it would please you to wait.
It would, very much so. And then she heads back with the rest.
Caleb is not really in the front of here. He's paying special attention to stay in somebody's shadow, but away from shadows in particular, as he stays right in the middle of the corridor, tight behind Foliana. From time to time, his eyes stray towards her waist and then back up towards the path ahead. He realizes there's much more serious matters in hand than the beauty of an elf.
I'm sure she notices. She's used to having men look at her butt, and she just kind of smirks her little smirk again. She looks down this way again. She doesn't like this little hole, so she kind of glances nervously down there as she passes by. I assume doesn't see or hear anything. She'll listen at the hole there.
She doesn't hear anything, just disappears into a great blackness.
Alright, then she will continue on. How are our friends doing over there? Still alive?
They're still alive, and as you kind of walk on past them, they're like, back already? You've saved the realm, you've collected the riches, and are ready to return to up the top, huh?
All except the riches, yes. Hopefully there'll be some down this way.
Sir Tiffin says, well, Sir Carl here was telling me that he was very anxious to get out and that he's been quite afraid. Sir Carl, I said nuts, I said no such thing. I'll stay down here until the very end and perish at my lord's side if that's what it takes. No shadow shall frighten me from my duty. Ah! They continue to bicker with each other as you guys continue down the hall.
A fine pair. Hold up there, Mr. Caleb. Oh, I put up a hand for everyone to stop for a minute. I assume we can all see.
I don't know if we are supposed to just yet.
Yeah, you can see. You have
It's
line
all-
of sight. You have line of sight out to the...
Lit. Oh, what do we see there?
As you get closer and closer, the heat becomes more and more oppressive. The very air seems to squeeze in around you, and it's almost hard to breathe, although you sense no lack of air and no dangerous fumes. Your nostrils are just almost scorched with this sulfur-esque type of smell, and your eyes might water, but it's no more than irritation. As you enter the chamber, you see vast flowing rivers of lava. Here and there, great giant bubbles bubble up from the depths, and spouts of flame kind of erupt.
And we see this thing or not?
out in the middle?
Mm-hmm. In the
Yes.
fire.
Yeah.
It looks like a bonfire of some sort.
Mhm. Yeah, so as you get closer and closer, there is almost a spectral shape. It's translucent and seems to be writhing, kind of staring up towards the ceiling, a look of pain on its face, in this kind of eternally burning flame, this prison of fire and eternal damnation, torture.
Hmm. Foliana will try to stick to the shadows as best she can. I'm gonna try a stealthy stealth. Oh, yeah. She's highly motivated to remain unseen. So she's gonna start picking her way along here. Cautiously. This thing doesn't seem to be aware of us, I assume.
No, it's not even it's not like a sound escapes from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's spectral almost. It's
Almost like, yeah, okay.
your eyes. You look once and it's there. You look back. Maybe is it just flames? But you get an overwhelming sense of dread that something is certainly not right within this place, and it's more likely that Elfgar was right, and this is the prison of Zorûl, where he is bound, at least for now.
Yes. Foliana glances at Torkel, who's right behind her, just to kind of see what he's doing, what he makes of this.
I had wanted a necklace of demon teeth. That does not look like that demon has teeth. This is not good.
May just be a ghost of sorts.
I don't want ghost teeth. I want demon teeth.
Yes, well. Does it look like I'm coming up on a ledge that's going to be hard to get down?
Yeah, it does.
All right. Dead end, boys. Unless we see anything of interest. Doesn't look like it.
How long of a drop is it?
About the same as the other cliff, like about 10 meters or so.
Foliana can manage that, I'm sure. Want me to do something to get down?
No need to get down.
All right. Then once she's down, she'll continue on up to here and kind of take stock of where everybody is.
Well, she stopped right there, and everybody kind of stopped where you wanna be. So as Foliana kind of moves further and further, the specter in the middle of the island seems to become more and more embodied. You can see now a humanoid shape kind of writhing in the flame, although it's still translucent.
Is it still just focused on its agony, or does it look like it's becoming more aware as well?
Yeah, it's still writhing, but then from time to time the kind of eyes start to look at you. Yes. You are met by flickering light, by magma that flows in foul rivers and meanders between stalagmites and stern outcroppings that stand in sharp relief against the hot red of the lava. In the center of the chamber, translucent and bound, but radiating an immense power, is Zorûl. Indeed, he is the Vanquished. He has suffered the loss of his material form many years ago, but like a crater that remains long after a demonic blast has done its damage, his will and malice and his consciousness remain. He resides upon an island amidst a sea of white-hot light, reachable only by a single bridge. As you approach, the specter lifts its head that is anchored to rock by chains of gold, spiked iron. His mouth moves and no words come, at least not yet. Instead, the voice of Elfgar rings out for all to hear, ancient and hard as the walls that surround you. Behold, Zorûl the Vanquished. Be not deceived, Delvers. Though this demon is weak now, he may yet regain his strength, if freed from his everlasting tomb. He is bound with words of power, but it is up to you to end him forever, thus setting free the souls of those who rest in uneasy slumber in the pious marches. Do not hesitate. Proceed and do your duty, and listen not to his feeble whisperings. His is the voice of a liar, and no demon is to be believed, least of all Zorûl, teller of lies. The voice kind of rings out.
Filiana looks about her. The others.
The baleful gaze of the form writhing in the island of flame kind of looks at each of you. Foliana first, I want you to make a wisdom or charisma saving throw with a DC of 18. You feel, Foliana,
Nope.
something trying to get into your mind.
That's not usually what things try to get into with Foliana.
What was that first one? Was that first one the 23? Oh, it's stealth. That's stealth. Never mind.
That was stealth. This
15.
is the 15.
So you may try to fight the feeling away, but it's almost as if a voice is speaking in between your ears, and you hear it say, "I sense you even now, Lady Gretty." You are a lady, are you not? I sense that the leash of your family still has upon your neck. It's being drawn tight for a good correction. Indeed, your being sought and the sight of Zorûl penetrates plains, mountains, rivers, and flesh. Even the minds of those you most love are not immune to me. Ah, yes, your captors are soon at hand, Foliana. Would you not like the power to repel them? To show them your worth at last? In fact, maybe you wish even for more, Lady Grundy? Yes. Kind of what are you thinking internally as this thing crawls into your mind?
She is thinking, he said something about my captors are approaching. She doesn't like that. Some of what he's saying is certainly true. She's never been one to want absolute power, but the thought of... I'd say she's intrigued but uncertain. So she looks hesitant. The others probably wouldn't notice much of anything except that she's just kind of leaned up against the stone, growing a little confused and distant.
Since you failed that one, as the voice kind of worms its way into your mind, start to develop a headache. Make the same check, this time with a 20 DC.
Do we have inspiration by any chance? Probably not.
Yeah, not in this place.
All right, and here I go. No.
Like a flash, your mind is filled with a solitary figure upon a white horse, standing tall and proud upon this horse, weaving its way down a mountain path in the evening at night. And you are forced almost to give up to Zorûl what you most desire. And I'll just leave that up to RP and make it interesting, but you almost feel compelled to whisper into your mind your fears and your desires.
Okay. Do you want me to whisper that to you?
Oh, you can, or you can RP it out. It's up to you.
Well, certainly the thing she fears most is being tethered to something or someone where she has either obligation she cannot escape or responsibility she cannot, weasel out of in some way. So she fears getting in a corner that way. But that wars with her desire to have complete control, at least of her own life, if not others. At this point, it's mostly her own life. So what she wants most is the ability to roam where she wishes and have no one telling her what she can and cannot do.
And then as the scene pans out from this horse is leading a train of carts. And on the back cart is a wooden cage, and within it, you are in that cage with your hands bound and a gag within your mouth. Oh, Foliana, if you continue down this path, you will not have the power you need. Come free me and it can be yours. And we'll move on to Tarkle. Wisdom or Charisma saving throw, DC 18.
Nope.
Into your mind. This is all happening simultaneously, right? You're kind of undergoing this. Kind of hear this. Tarkle of the North, master of the cold, and thee with heart of stone. You seek great deeds, do you not? Aye. Like the adventurers of old you strive. You throw yourself into the fray, into the wilderness, and have found yourself in the company of a most unlikely host, Tarkle. Who are you to squander this opportunity? Free me from these chains, and I promise you not only great things for thee, but the greatest of things.
I'll throw them in. Give it to me.
Very well. So give me another one, this time at 20. Yeah. Seizing upon your greed and your desires, you see yourself returning to Pruk Galandan in a way that would be... Just tell me, like, what would be the best possible outcome for Tarkle? What is the greatest thing you can imagine, the greatest glory?
To be made chief of the tribe, to win the heart of the beautiful Torah. Yes, this is what would happen. I would have many children and rule the tribe.
Yeah, so you see this vision of yourself kind of returning triumphant, winning Torah, and taking your place as the chieftain of the tribe, and perhaps growing long in the tooth with many children.
Strong sons.
strong sons who go and
Beautiful
buy it.
daughters, yes.
You see it all. All you have to do is free me from these chains, Tarkle Tarlson, Lord of the North. Julius. Saving throw at DC 18.
Right. Charisma or wisdom?
Yep, either one.
Okay.
Oh! So you sense this voice prying into your mind, begin to get a headache, but you're somehow able to fight it back. You still hear the voice, though. Ah, Julius, I do not need to put forth my strength of will towards you, for it's all too clear to me that your mind is already inhabited by someone akin to me. But instead of force, let me put forth reason unto you. You are not untrained in the arcane arts, my lord, my prince. And you are not one to throw away advantage needlessly. Use me. Use my wisdom and strength. Do so, and not only Fristenfeld will be yours, but the Vestberg, the North, the Conventus. And you kind of see images of your armies overrunning the Conventus legions. And you can converse with him at will and don't need to make another check.
Yeah, Julius thinks on it as a interesting thought, but then he pauses for a moment thinking about it. Internally, he speaks with Zorûl, and all of this is very appealing, but I would pose a question to you, if you don't mind.
I am at your command, Lord Tarisk.
I see these great visions and this great power that you say you will offer. Help me achieve such a goal. But what I see in my mind and my eyes does not match. I have seen this vision in my mind before. And I hear these words of a mighty being that can grant me this future, but then I look upon this lake of lava at something so pathetic and writhing, and I wonder, how is it that my patron is free and has given me what I desire thus far, and yet you are so much more powerful but trapped here in this castle?
All the rest of you are in your mental conversations, and as this is kind of going on, this lake of fires erupts and just bursts into flame, meters into the sky, sending up spirals of dark smoke that twist into the air and disappear into the gloom overhead. Who are you to challenge me, Julius Tarisk? I could say the same for you. A whelp at your father's hill in Fristenfeld. Do you not know your history, Lord Tarisk? For in the age of legends, there were other entities besides myself that were more powerful than you can imagine. And though I may be chained, I may be bound in this time you now experience, free me, please, and I will join you, and together I will show you what true power really means.
And he smiles to himself and I have no need to free you. I have met something powerful, more powerful than you, that has survived for a longer age. It will give me what I wish. It did not have to beg me to let it go.
with that, it just the being struggles against its bonds. And just like fire again erupts. All right, Tarreton, Giant's Blood, make your check.
Is anyone surprised?
Easily tempted. Into your mind, the worm of Zorûl the Vanquished whispers, Lord Tarreton, you are a stoic one, as strong and unmoving as the mountains that birthed your kin. But you have wants, you have needs. Is there some seed in your soul of unrest? Is there some kernel of resentment? Oh yes, your partnership with Fristenfeld has worked out well for Buzzard's Roost. But those people of that city, they are soft. They are lords and ladies that dance and enjoy their wines and their dresses and their harps and their trysts in bathhouses. Wouldn't it be so much better if they knew the true strength of Buzzard's Roost?
Should rule them all.
Yes, yes. Rule them all. Imagine how that would feel, Lord Giant's Blood. Give me a DC 20 check now. And tell me what this fantasy plays out in your mind with you ruling them all and how much you would love it. What would you do to your subjects?
Oh, it'd be a bloodbath.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and Tarreton's idea of governance is somewhere around Idi Amin, I guess.
Da.
So yeah, there'd be any dissenters crucified up and down the roads.
Yeah, so like
Tarreton's dungeons would be full.
the road from Buzzard's Roost down to Pinebreak Peak, down to Fristenfeld, is just lined with offenders of all sorts, just
Hanging
getting
on
their eyes
crosses.
pecked. Eyes pecked by crows.
Perfect.
Yeah, that sounds pleasant. All right, now I'll leave it up to you to finish the RP.
Is that to the general group or to Tarreton?
Group in
Oh,
general.
let's-
Does Foliana feel that she even has any idea what he would want her to do?
He?
Well, Zorûl.
Yeah.
He wants him to. He clearly wants her to do something to
Yeah,
free
it's,
him.
it's simple. Yeah, so he would obviously kind of let you know, kind of in your hearts and souls, that all you would need to do is just lift that chain from his neck. And his will be joined with your own, and all of your dreams will come true.
His will be joined with my own.
Now, just to clarify out of character, so Elfgard did express he wanted to destroy him. Did he give us? Was there a manual that came with that, or is it just do it?
No, but you also, that sword at your side is very itchy.
Yeah, Julius, make no bones about it. He'll draw the sword and begin to stride up the steps.
Foliana is moving that way. There is still some uncertainty. When he says join with her, that doesn't really quite fit with her idea of total freedom. So there's some little nagging in the back of her mind. She's more confused than anything at the moment, but she kind of sees that others are moving forward, so she just, almost without thinking too much, just sort of follows along with them.
You stride forward, and The baleful gaze of Zorûl just kind of follows each of you. Everybody except Julius has that inkling in the back of their mind that this demon has some access to their deepest thoughts. You don't see a smile, but if such a thing could smile, you sense it. Come hither. End this way, one way or another. Either I'm free, and all of your dreams will be realized, or I will have eternal peace, finally. The doctor trails up behind you and just like looking at everybody, and for some reason he didn't get the phone call. Wondering why everybody's
not
gone
even
so quiet.
not even worthy of being
No.
invited.
Your brain should not be invaded. I will not
When I
soil
put together
myself.
the expedition.
He's so insulted. Oh, come on, try to control me. Alright. I would say Foliana is not first across the bridge. I don't know about the rest of you. As I said, there's uncertainty. She's got half a mind to do what he asks, but there is an unsure thought in her mind. Will she be free?
Julius is gonna continue to stride forward. In his mind, he's already made the decision.
Julius kind of starts to cross the bridge, kind of turn to the others, and sees that the others are kind of little conflicted, a little lost in thought. That's about it.
And Julius will eye them, but won't say anything or do anything just yet. He just kind of turns the gaze and holds it for a little bit and continues to walk towards this apparition that's chained.
Is that
Now-
before he gets off the bridge?
What?
That
Oh no, I was just out of character.
Oh! I thought he was commanding something there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
As you get to the far end of the bridge, Zorûl's voice is now kind of corporeal. You can hear it. You don't know where it's coming from. It's not coming from him, but it's certainly a voice. So, at last you have crossed this bridge. A bridge that shall be my doom or my salvation. So, Lord Tarreton, Lord Giant's Blood, Lady Foliana Gredi, and Tarkle the Conqueror, or would-be Conqueror, what say you? I pledge my loyalty to each of you and your company if you should just free me from this chain, the smallest of things that is bound upon my neck. Though powerful spells lay upon it, I have no doubt it is within your power to dispel this magic.
Foliana says perhaps.
Bows his head as you approach.
Foliana says perhaps he speaks the truth.
Julius turns and looks at the others, and looks at Folion in particular. Go ahead, Darren.
She just says, "We do not know who is telling us the truth and who is lying. Once an action is done, it cannot be undone. We must be sure it is the right choice." And she kind of steps around Julius and stands in front of the Vanquished one and gazes at him as if she's trying to see if he really will grant her what she desires, or whether he will put a chain around her neck.
As you approach Zorûl, it is clear to all of you, even the most untrained in the arcane arts, that his power that's being restrained here, he's an ancient being. There are demons that wander the world in Arcanus, but these are the ones that were left over, the ones that were deemed too weak for the heroes in the Age of Legends to restrain. This is a real deal. Tarisk, if you ever doubted his strength, even though he is bound in chains right now, you have no doubt, if freed, that he would possess great power of some sort. Foliana, this is where you're going to have to make a choice. It's hard to trust or not trust. That's the rub, right?
She will start to reach out for that golden collar. She hasn't touched it yet, but her hand is slowly moving towards it. She's becoming a little more certain as she does.
Julius will speak to Foliana. Before you make that decision, may I pose a question to you?
She pauses, but seems more irritated than attentive.
If a being as powerful as this is going to grant you whatever it is that it offered you, keep your secrets, then with such power, under what obligation does it have to fulfill that with you?
It is promised.
I see. And in your experience, do beings, powerful or weak, often keep promises all the time?
She says he is an ancient one. And the ancient one's words have more weight. They are not changing. They are who they are.
And if the spirits above us are to be believed, then this one has been lying since his first day walking this plane. So why would he not lie to you, or me, or Tarbin, or Torkel?
So what would you do, all-knowing one?
End him. If we release him, he is under no obligation to fulfill any of his bargains with us other than his own word.
She says, "Are you not yourself a slave to the sorceries you pretend to command?"
Julius smiles. An air of truth. But my freedom is apparent. Why take a risk with something such as this? This is a being that owned this land where we stand. What obligation does it have to give you any freedom? Or me? or any of us.
Because it wants its freedom. And we are the ones who can grant it. It will owe us a great debt.
Great debts are not often repaid. Some debts remain debts, and in fact take more than they're worth. You believe the words of this thing?
Bo, do you have any input on what is Zorûl saying anything? Is he doing anything in her mind at this time?
He's listening as the discussion unfolds. He's bolstering your mind to make arguments in his favor as much as he can. He does say into your mind that, Jewel Lord Tarisk is a wise one, but he is not all-knowing and all-powerful. No being is.
Fully on it.
If he is reasonable, appear to his reason. Bind me in some lesser way, for even so chained to some small extent, I am still more powerful than anything you have witnessed.
What assurances do we have then? Answer his question. How do we know you will grant us what you've promised?
What would you request of me, Lady Grandy? What possibly can I do that will make you trust me? And know also that lies are lies, our lies are lies. Perhaps the spirits above were lying about myself. I keep my word to those I deem worthy. For those who are not worthy, they deserve deception. The weak shall perish, and the strong shall again roam and rule Arcanus.
Foliana turns to Julius and says, "Are we not strong? Should we not rule?"
We should. And he looks at Zorûl. But if we released him, we would not rule. As he says, he is strong. He says we are strong. But he says also that nothing that we have ever encountered is as strong as he is. Is there not a hierarchy in strength, Foliana?
That causes her visible doubt. Her hand withdraws a bit. She kind of suddenly realizes that her hand is almost touching the collar, and her hand moves back to her side, and she stands trying to make sense of that.
Tarbin's brow furrows at the mention of a hierarchy of strength.
If we keep the chain, can we not rebind him? Are we not as strong as Elfgar?
I have a feeling when the chain is lifted, he would not give us an opportunity to bind him again. That is why this decision is very crucial. Looks
In the
about.
back of Tarkel's mind, he hears laughter. He says, I do deem you the wisest among those present. You have my assurances. This chain of binding will remain in your possession, Tarkel the Wise. Kind of flattering him.
Yes, he who possesses the chain, that is the strongest of us.
Nothing
Fully.
is so simple,
Foliana just kind of steps out of the way for Torkel. He seems more resolute than she is.
Or stupider.
Well, she sees it as that he has made up her mind, and she is paralyzed with uncertainty at the moment.
He'll grab chain and
You all look on as Torkel lays his hand on the chain and you begin to lift it off of his head.
nobody stops me.
I would probably reach out a hand. I may have something to try to not have you release that. Yes. Yeah, Julius would try to reach out a hand. Put his over Torkel's, trying to keep him from lifting it.
You have one demon. What if we had two?
That's a good argument.
That's a good argument.
Julius thinks on it for a minute, and he chuckles, and it's not quite that simple. If you trust my experiences with these kind of beings, know that there is always a price to be paid. The price that this thing will have you pay is not worth the reward you're going to gain. And that is a heavy price to pay if it is offering you everything you desire, isn't it? You imagine what possibly could be requested from you?
I know not what it is asked, other than removing the chain. But do we not need power? Do we not need might to achieve our ends? Great ends.
From what I have seen of us just now, I believe we possess more than enough might, power, and wisdom, he puts his hand on Torkel's shoulder, that the four of us could overcome any odds to achieve our goals together.
Like putting the chain back on this one.
That, I think, would be insurmountable once the chain is removed.
We're not so great.
Perhaps not as great as this being, but perhaps that is for the better.
It is good to be weak. I've not heard this argument.
We are a different kind of strong than this being. This is, as the ghost above said, a deceiver. False promises. Releasing him would allow him strength. It would make us weak by letting him go. We would reintroduce him to the world. And he has plainly stated he is strong enough to give you everything you desire, but is under no obligation to do so. How would you compel him if he refused you after you remove this chain? His words that the chain will restrain him? As if he would let you put it back on his head.
Lord Giant's blood would strike him with his mattock. You would shoot him with your strength. Oleana would hide in the shadows and shoot. And I would put the chain around his neck and rebind him.
Or you underestimate this potential adversary and he kills all of us, and then our strength is gone.
Against that, everything my heart desires.
You can have everything your heart desires without taking the risk that this release implies. I will make certain of it. And I'm not asking you to pull a chain off of my head.
Do I get another saving throw with all this, or what?
Sure. You know what the demon wants you to do. He's whispering that you're the only one making sense in this group. He'll let you have the chain, and he's just going to be glad to be free.
He's whispering sweet nothings.
Sounds good to me.
Don't you want all those kids and and you have like your vision of like your daughter, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Your son, strapping young lad, goes out, kills a bear with his own hands.
Oh.
That's your boy that did that.
You are very wise, Lord Julius. But it's wiser. And he reaches down to pull it off. Unless somebody does something to physically stop it.
Foliana's definitely not. She kind of secretly wants Torkel to be the one to do it. She kind of wants to do it, but if someone else does it, that releases her from the responsibility.
I
Decision
will.
by indecision.
Mhm.
I will have to blast you for that one. I'm gonna hit him with the Eldritch, or try to. On the hand.
Whew. Oh!
Still 11 damage.
Zap.
And that's fine since you weren't expecting it, and you guys can go at it if you want. We'll see. And you guys, you can roll initiative, or I'll just say, Julie, Torkel will go up next if you guys are going to go after it. Or Torkel, how do you respond to that? Your hand is fried, skin's blistering on it. Exquisite pain shoots up your arm.
Take the other hand and take the chain off.
He's got a point.
Ow!
I don't know. I think
He pulls his other hand up, like out of from behind. Aha! You did not expect that I would have a second hand.
I think it's going to come down to he's going to pull it off unless somebody physically stops him from doing it.
Well, we've got one other man who's over 6 foot in this party, so we'll see what Giant's Blood
Arcanus
does.
been very
the
quiet.
saves. Well, he failed the saves.
So I'm never going to really force your character to do anything, but I want to give you interesting RP opportunities. So if you think it'd make a good story to be influenced in that way, fine. But if something in your character strives against it, you're not getting dominated. Does that make sense?
Well, put it.
I want to give your character an out. I want to give your character an out if secretly you want to do it. It's the classic deal with the demon. You never know. It's Faust.
Didn't work out good for that guy.
Yeah, it turned out well.
But I guess we don't know that.
Well, Foliana is not
I do.
interfering. She is now spiraling into indecision.
I've done my shot.
Yeah, I think Tarbin is enough on the fence that, he would certainly protect Julius, but I don't know that he'll go out of his way to stop Torkel.
So, Torkel, with your other hand, you reach up and pull the chain off of Zorûl, and tell me what that looks like as you release the beast.
Triumphantly, Torkel reaches out, grabs the chain, and lifts it up. Arise!
And as you do that, it is very much arise, as this demon you pull the chain off of it, and suddenly it becomes more corporeal, and the shadows gather about it, and it kind of comes up from the flames to its full height. It's probably twice as tall as Tarbin, and maybe your eyes are playing tricks upon you, but great wings like shadows just billow out to the side as it's almost like enveloping the entire cavern. And then there's as a thing starts to shake, The entire lake of fires erupts into flame as you guys are buffeted by heat, and this thing rises up into the air and hangs over you. You get the feeling that with a gaze or a beat of its wings, it can smite all four of you with a single blow. And he says, "Very well, Torkel the Brave. Your generosity will be remembered and paid in kind. But for now, I keep my word and I depart into your hearts and your spirits." And this darkness kind of swirls around you. Each of you are kind of enveloped with shadows that kind of like glow with this violet aura, and you feel yourself actually kind of being strengthened. Each and every one of you as this disappears back into the flames and kind of goes into all of your bodies. And I'll let you guys RP what that looks like.
For fully honest, she just kind of falls to her knees and her arms open wide like in a receiving gesture, and her head falls back in with an ecstatic look. She feels herself like riding swiftly on a horse through meadows, unhindered, wherever she wants to go.
Definitely feels very real possibility at this point.
Tarreton seems to swell with power, looking even larger. The energy infuses him. Visions of grandeur dancing in his head, crushing those who oppose him under his heel.
He called me Talker the Wise. I will drink his power. And I am Talker the Wise.
Julius.
Julius, as he feels the power, he still receives the power, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. So he takes it in. He does feel emboldened by it, but in the back of his mind, he knows how this plays out. And he knows that there'll be something to pay down the line. He just kind of, after the initial surge, he's emboldened, but he just kind of sighs deeply. You have put us in quite the pact, Torkel Tolson.
I think I should grow a beard now that I am wise. Wise man.
You should also have that hand looked at. He shakes his head. I think that is all, then.
And then, in the firelit cavern comes something unexpected. You hear footsteps. They're faint at first, but grow louder as the stark sounds of boots on granite becomes clear. Then, emerging from shadows cast by molten magma, is the form of Harlan the Wise. You met at the apothecary. With him is another figure some of you may find familiar. Robed in the adornments of local religion is acolyte Jesuvius, who served alongside the friar. Up here. I suppose it was too much to ask of you to face so much power, begins Harlan. And it was too much to hope that the prophecies would come true in such a fashion. Would that I could bide my time and place my faith in another band of travelers. For you and your kind have proven ill fit to rid this land of Zorûl. And even though I may perish, I will now take this burden upon myself with with only a loyal friend here to aid me. He gestures to Vesuvius before continuing. For know my name is Harlan Gilthonian, vanquisher of demons and bringer of freedom to the land that was known once as Vanhar. A fey look comes into his eyes before he ends. And now that Zorûl rests within your hearts, your blood must pay the price of your misdeeds. And he like pounds his staff and like a wave spreads out in front of him. And Taleb is thrust through the air, flies, and disappears below the lava. And let's do this.
Oh, looks like Feliana watches him go arc through the air. She's still kind of like... Now she's just angry to be pulled out of her dream.
Alright.
She has a focus now.
And you are all have inspiration through the battle.
Oh, all the time?
All the time.
Ooh, we're so powerful.
You are powerful. Lord Tarban, you're first.
Alrighty then. He will just charge out here as far as he can get. And I believe that is all he can do.
A mountain ride.
Man, you guys rolled shit.
Yes, we did. Well, we're very distracted. I think it totally makes sense.
Yep. The fog is just leaving our heads.
Does make sense.
They call me wise.
Torkel's over there just
Need to change that token name to Torkel the
bathing
Wise.
in his own wisdom.
In quotations, the Wise.
Well, there's another one, Harlan calling himself the Wise. You can't let that stand.
Gotta kill him for the title.
Yeah.
I can't
Only-
make myself,
only
I can't make
one
myself
can-
fly. That's fine.
Touch yourself and fly.
Thought this was a family show.
So as Tarban storms across the bridge, the acolyte kind of rears back in one of his hands. Fire leaps up from the fire pit, gathers in his palm, and he just shoots at your direction.
Oh!
9 fire damage.
Oh dear.
What's that look like?
Hot.
Oh, ho, ho.
It's gonna tank it.
Tank it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh,
Six.
plus 3, so it's 6.
that still sucked though.
Yeah.
Should have been so much more.
And Harlan again takes his staff and pounds it on the floor.
Oh no.
You ready to see what the bottom of this lava lake looks like, Tarpon?
Constitution 12 save, Tarpon. Come
Constitution
on,
12.
man.
Might be okay.
You have advantage, right?
Mm-hmm. 20.
Oh yeah. The giant, the mountain is unmoved.
So, like, this wave comes against you. You dig your heels in and, like, The stone starts to crack beneath your feet, but like a mountain, you are unmoved. Foliana.
She finally
I
snaps.
think it still does like a little bit of damage.
It does. I think it's halved, if that's my understanding correctly.
It is. It's halved. It's at 5.
She is now supremely irritated and at least has a focus now. So she whips out her bow and takes a shot at Harlan. 85. What's my range with the bow? I forget. 80. Well, she could move a little bit first. She knows she was a little out of range. Yeah. She'll move up and take a shot. This will not be a sneak attack.
No,
unfortunately. All right, here she goes.
Four.
Still a hit.
Yeah, so it hits him.
And she'll use her reaction to try to hide. Her usual.
Yeah, like you can duck kind of down behind like the bridge, like the.
Oh yeah, she gets down behind that little wall railing or whatever.
Tarkle the Wise.
Torkel!
It was wise to attack from a distance, like Loliana.
Thanks for the compliment. Coming from the wise one, that is.
Damage 3.
Yeah, not much for damage. I guess.
Yeah, he kind of sidesteps, and the javelin kind of scrapes him and clatters off of the rocks behind him. Julius.
Yeah, hearing the bold proclamation from Harlan the Wise, or Gilthonian, as he's referring to himself. Though he's a bit dismayed with the current circumstances, he's not about to let anyone kill him, so he turns and walks to the side calmly and begins to summon up his energies and is going to target the source of all that boisterousness.
Source of the boisterous. 15, that hits. 10 damage.
Yep. Yeah, so he launches a bolt of Eldritch Force over there, grazes the old man's flank, and bold proclamations. Let's see if your might can back them.
Yeah, he tries to catch the electricity on his staff and it crackles, but then you kind of see some blisters start to form on Harlan's face. He certainly has met his match. He is starting to smoke at about the hems of his robe. Lord Giant's blood.
Oh no.
We'll stomp up close.
Uh-oh.
We'll swing them all.
Would you like a 24 or a 20?
Would you like to kill this man?
Oh, man, you are on today.
What does that look like? You're smoked. You're a smite.
Tarreton walks up, and just pile drives him with the maul, crushes his head.
As he's slain, the place starts to shake and tremble.
His head just pops down into his shoulders. Oops, like a turtle.
At this point, that fire is still wreathed around Vesuvius. This giant wreath of fire, he kind of looks towards the looks towards the island and looks at Giant Slud again. And
Oh!
What?
Oh! At who?
Who's that going to?
right, I think I hit the wrong one. I'm sorry, I meant to hit Firebolt.
Oh. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, I hit the wrong one.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm an acolyte at the church. Also, I cast
Yeah.
slot 8 level magic from time to time. Holy shit! What a legend!
It's only 3rd level.
16, I think.
Not when he casts it.
That even misses you, doesn't it?
Yeah, missed me with that one.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Oh, poor little acolyte.
Foliana.
Well, Foliana will, of course, take her little sneak attack.
Pops up from behind the...
21, and that is 4 and 8. 12. Right into his side, yeah.
Sticks in his gut. And the fire kind of goes out in his hands. Torkel's up.
Job.
He's down on his knees. You drop him. You drop him to his knees as your axe cuts off his left arm. Blood spilling everywhere as he looks up to you. Mercy! Have mercy! Julius.
Yeah, none of that. Oh, maybe that.
Oh no,
Oh, it's
17.
advantage.
17.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that.
That's what it looks like, as he's just electrocuted.
So I see him holding up his remaining arm to Torkel, pleading, and just kind of smirk and think none of that, and just launch a bolt towards him and scorch his head and neck.
Foliana stands up and turns to Julius and says, "You see, Torkel is perhaps wiser than you. Here we stand, stronger than ever."
And the cave starts to shake and tremble.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Julius starts to move with haste, and time will tell. But if we don't move quickly, then here we will stand surrounded by rock.
You can tell they must have come in through another entrance, probably close to town. They came from this direction up there.
Yes.
I urge haste.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Foliana.
the boulder's gonna explode into the magma, sending like tongues of fire everywhere.
Foliana is grateful for the straightforward nature of this, that she just has to avoid getting crushed. She doesn't have to moralize or debate. She just runs.
As you
But
guys
she
run,
feels free.
yeah, but you also hear a demonic laughter as you kind of run.
Foliana tries not to listen to that. She'd rather just enjoy her feeling of freedom.
Torkel grabs the chain.
Yeah, you have the chain. Add that to your inventory. Chain of Zorûl.
Nice. Don't worry, we won't need it again.
We can make up some cool names for the dagger and sword as well, too.
Oathbreaker sounds good.
How about dumbass?
And tell me kind of what it looks like as you kind of escape, like run all the way up out of this thing.
Oh shit, we left the knights. But yeah, he's just hustling, pretty much. Just
Yeah, they joined you.
Foliana actually just, if you mention that, she says, if they're strong enough, they will make it out alive.
You guys have turned. Yeah, they would have returned the way they came in once the place started to cave in. Why don't you all get to the one spot so I can gather up your tokens so we can move on. Tarkle the Wise is smelling, picking mushrooms.
We have lost our wise one. Tarkle the Wise. Yes. He's not that wise, I guess.
I can't walk through these walls?
Yeah.
I shall move thy token.
Yes. He's much more wise when he's just making decisions about demons. Foliana just exults as she races up the stairs. Probably the...
As you come upstairs, you just run like you've traveled a good ways. You come up at the outskirts of Pinebreak Peak.
Ah. That's exactly what I thought it would look like.
You have chosen, and your doom has ruled the fate of many. You now stand before a town transformed, and it burns. Before you are throngs of small folk. Their eyes are black as coal, and gazing as if possessed by a will that is not their own. Fires rage, and nearly half of the town's buildings have been razed in short order. This happened as soon as you freed them, right? The wailing of the damned fills the air. The crying and shrieking rises high and then dips low again. A waxing and waning tide of misery. For in their midst, collaring the resistant and bringing all under their command, as if by wicked spells, are great demons of fire and shadow, their wings unfurled and trailing brimstone behind them, as they harvest what your company has sown. A voice seems to be on the wind, and it hisses and crackles, as if a voice of flame. Yours, Julius Terrask. Yours, Tarkle the Wise. Yours, Foliana Grady, savior of Southlandia. Yours, Tarbin the Cruel, Tarbin the Conqueror, and more. Yes, ere the end you will have more. You will have all, if only but you have the will to take it. For I shall join my will with yours, and together this land will be brought under the sway of our might. And as you cross this field towards the town, you can see that these villagers that are under the spell and sway are already being herded into phalanxes and columns. Those who resist, as if from your vision, from the town square, you see great and terrible crucifixes rise up. And on them you see burning figures, and you can smell flesh burning in the air. So, what'd you take it from there?
Yeah. Well, Foliana just stares, and it's kind of a sobering moment. This isn't exactly what she had in mind.
It is sort of what Tarvin had in mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of these demons like starts to cross the fields towards you.
Shit.
Kind of like talking to you, and he actually comes before all four of you and kneels. Your forces are being made ready for war, my lord and lady. But point the arrow and we shall fire it at the target. Thine enemies will be smote down upon the mountainside, in the fields. Kind of requests direction.
And Julius looks at the others and tries to appraise their mindset, seeing Foliana's sobering look, and looks at Tarvin, half excitement, half confusion, probably.
That's fair.
And looks at Torkel.
Perhaps you would wait for my beard to grow.
In that case, I suppose I shall direct our forces. Looks at the demon. We must conquer the surrounding lands first. I believe that Lord Giant's Blood will still command forces at the Buzzard's Roost. It is my home which must be taken.
Foliana.
Oh, she has no idea what to do now. She just never thought about what this would look like. She just was thinking of herself. Now that she sees this isn't at all what she wanted, and all of her joy from the last 10 minutes is fading very quickly. And she's starting to feel a chain around her throat. In fact, a hand goes up to her throat and kind of rubs it. And she's having difficulty breathing.
Unless anybody has anything else, we'll end it on a scene that I think will give Foliana a direction to go in the next session. As Pinebreak burns, and its people are made thralls of Zorûl, and the demon's new host, there is a white horse that journeys through the night. Atop the horse is an elf. Tall and fair, his hair is gold, and he is wrapped in a cloak of deep green that protects him against the night. For coming from the south along the river, Aemon Gilthonian first passed the cemetery at Tarreton. Seeing disturbed graves and low fog and odor of brimstone hanging over the place, he went wide, continuing north. Dear Lady Gritty, he thought to himself, if rumor be true, you are nearby. I pray only that you have not met your end, nor have any part in this foul business. Continuing, he crests a hill and looks down upon Pinebreak. His eyes probably go wide. It may be that he's Foliana and the others gathered there. Perhaps not. In either case, there is only a deep frown graven on the elf's face. This is unhappy news. Unhappy news indeed. And we will stop it there.